All right, 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM listeners, we are live right here in full effect with the music industry's most featured artists. We got the one, the only Kokane coming on the air for the second time. How you doing this evening?
Man, feel good, man. Shout out to everybody listening. Feel good to be back on the program.
Hey man, I gotta say first and foremost, thank you for just reaching out and making this possible. Like I told you the first interview, I think I said it a few times to you. I grew up listening to your music and what you've done for hip hop. So just thank you so much for providing us with a little bit of your time yet again.
Oh man, it's all love. It's all on the one.
And you know, this time I went through the old questions and whatnot, and I tried not to be repetitive. I tried to actually get different questions, but you've done so much work that it was actually fairly easy to actually get new questions.
Righteous. You know, I'm ready to let the world educate the world. So feel free to ask me anything, brother.
And I want to start off about your Ruthless Records days, because the one thing that I can't believe I didn't bring this up the first interview, you actually co-wrote one of my favorite N.W.A songs by the name of Appetite for Destruction. I have to ask you, what was the experiences working on that project? Because that's one of N.W.A's most famous songs.
Well, it was a blessing to, you know, be a part of the Ruthless camp as well as a disciple and a participant. And Easy always gave us our creative control from above the law and Kokane. So, you know, during that time when they were just beginning to do the N.W.A Niggas for Life album, you know, Easy came to me because he knew I was a writer, and he gave me a shot. So, you know, I wrote Eazy-E's 10 Gangster Commandments off the Appetite of Destruction. And that was one of the singles that did good, and that was my first taste of platinum success by co-writing on the project as well as introducing a character called Sweet Talk on the intro, along with Above the Law, Rest in Peace, Cam G, and Cole 187 was on there as well. And man, years later, man, it made history, and it was a blessing to be a cornerstone piece and as a writer to help those gentlemen get into the Hall of Fame because it's well deserved.
And I have to ask you as well, were you there for the Appetite for Destruction video shoot? Because that music video was one of my favorite music videos of all time within hip hop.
Yeah, we shot that video. They shot that video down in Hollywood. I forget I think the place was called the Palace or the Palladium. And they also filmed it at an old bank, you know, and it was incredible, man, because, you know, that was Eazy-E's concept, is to have some type of old Al Capone type of situation going back into the future, though. And it was incredible, man. It was big budgets back then. You know, they actually spent $250,000 and $300,000 or $400,000 just on the budget in that range. But it was a footnote in hip-hop history, and, you know, I'm glad to be a part on the set just as well as a writer.
And I remember with that music video as well, I remember when they were actually in the bank, and when they ran out of the bank, it went from, like, the Al Capone days to, like, modern day, man. I thought that was really, really catchy to actually do for a music video.
Yeah, it definitely had that Back to the Future appeal, and Easy was definitely a creative monster. You know, not just as the CEO, but also he had hands-on with the creativity of N.W.A in his own projects as well. So, you know, rest in peace, big bro, Eazy-E. You know what I mean? And in my humble opinion, you know, my brother don't get the credit he really deserves, but the real people out there that are unsung heroes know what, you know, Eazy was really about, man. He was a beacon of the community. He was a pillar in hip-hop. You know what I'm saying? And that was really our West Coast Russell Simmons, man. He was definitely a visionary, man, and because his encounter and my encounter with him as well is the reason why it's a contributing part of me sustaining and just as well as soaking up the game on how to run a company independently.
And I most definitely agree with that as well, you know. Like, he does not get the credit he deserves. Like, he put a lot of individuals up. He really has started a lot of amazing careers, you know, with yours, Bone Thugs and Harmony as well. You know, he also brought up Michelet. like a lot of talented individuals.
Yeah, man, Michelet, DOC, you know, Stefan, Blood of Abraham, Terry B, the At Band Clan, which is called Black Eyed Peas, 666 Mafia had a hand in helping them, quite as kept. It's just his range, man, was just real global. And he's dearly missed, but we continuing on this ruthless legacy forever.
And I also have to ask you, because like obviously you've been in the studio with N.W.A. like for so many years back in the day. I have to ask you, what was one of your most memorable moments as being in the studio with all 5 individuals, or after Cube left 4?
Well, it was fun, man. You know, it was recorded at recordings was at Audio Achievements. That's Donovan the Dirt Biker. He was incredible mixer as well. Dr. Dre and Yella learned a lot. So did Code 187. But man, it was magical, man, because you could imagine, you know, being in the studio in 89, 90, or right when they was getting ready to, you know, before 100 Miles and Running. Man, being in the studio, you would have Warren G, Jewel used to be there always. They always bagging me, Above the Law, of course. Mike Holmes, who sung with Michelet. It was a real family environment, but the thing that caught me is that, you know, Dr. Dre and Eazy-E would always have creative differences and get into a little argument, but Eazy had the last say so. He was like, fuck that, man. We gonna put this on just like it is, man. And, you know, Dre wasn't too hot about that at that time, but still had the ability to put out great music that articulated all over the ghettos and, you know, urban spots and popular America. You know, so N.W.A. is really a global phenomenon, you know, and also Jerry Heller, you could contribute that to Jerry Heller. You know, I know a lot of people throw stones at Jerry Heller, but if there was no Jerry Heller in the equation, we wouldn't be here talking. So through the good, the bad, and the ugly times, he definitely needed to be credited and a significant part of showing Eric the ropes and allowing Eazy-E to take his hustle money and go legit, which is a great thing. So going back to the studio, man, it was incredible, man. It was like being in the studio with a Michael Jackson and the Jacksons, and you know, it was just an incredible journey to experience that.
And also, back in 1996, you actually worked on DJ Yella's record as well, called One Mo N to Go. I have to ask you, what was it like just working with DJ Yella? Because I think that was the only record he actually did. I don't know if he has anything else in the vault, but I do know that was his one and only release.
Well, you know, that was a heartfelt record, you know, because we wanted to give something to Eric, and you know, and that's what we did, man. We left Ruthless Records because, you know, and I know Yella feel the same way, because, man, when Eazy passed on, it was time for us to get on. You know what I mean? And when we left, we went over to Scotty Brothers. There was a project over there called One Mo Ninja to Go. And we came up with the record, This Is for the E, a real Compton City G. And we actually filmed it around, you know, a couple funeral spots. Had his little son in there, Derek. It was real sentimental, but we hit it right on the money. And, you know, that was a beautiful thing to be able to leave a song like that. And actually, the song No Pain, No Gain that was on Funk Upon a Rhyme was actually played at his funeral. And it's just, man, when you have someone so great like that in your presence, and, you know, they're just gone, like from him, Eazy-E to Tupac to KMG to Nipsey Hussle, the list goes on. It's just so real working with cats that I was right there, and they're not here no more. And they went on to leave astronomical legacy, man, that made an impact so cold that is the reason why, you know, youngsters are reverting back to this style of music and They were ahead of their time when they said F the police. Now, 30-something years later, and I mean over 20-something years later, it's still relevant to this day. Songs when you hear like with Above the Law and No Pain, No Gain on Funk Upon a Rhyme, we were being used by the universe to light your groove and raise, man, basically over 3 generations.
And also, in 1994, you actually released your second album, Funk Upon a Rhyme, which is actually now considered a collector's item, selling for as much as like $100 or more on eBay and other online stores. I have to ask you, what was the story and inspiration behind that phenomenal record, and how does it feel knowing that album is now a collector's item?
Oh, it's just amazing, man, where hip hop has grown, and the funk music that we did, our style of music called G-Funk. We are the architects of G-Funk, how it became a global phenomenon, and the influence was, just amazing. You know what I mean? You can go down the list, when I first came to Ruthless Records, we were a little bit different. My first album was called Who Am I? Because at that time, Eazy-E landed a big, gigantic deal. I told you he was on West Coast Russell Simmons. It was with Poor, Broken, Lonely, Above the Law, and Kokane. But then at that time, FCC laws didn't really want to say cocaine, even though we changed it around. So, Epic was kind of like in fear of getting sued or whatever it was. So they changed the name around to Who Am I? So a lot of people that were anticipating cocaine was going to the stores and walking past records of Who Am I? So that was the first door being slammed in my face. But then Eazy-E and Dr. Dre at that time gave me a chance to get on that N.W.A. album, which really started something, as far as features. When Above the Law started putting me on their features, I was being prepared to become the most featured artist in the world, because music was always in my DNA. I come from music royalty. My dad was an established writer, and at Motown Records, his name is Jerry Buddy Long, and my uncle's Willie Hutch. Look him up. He wrote a slew of hits for everybody. Michael Jackson did scores of music for the movies like The Mac. So I come from that. You know what I mean? So we put out an album called Who Am I? And it didn't have critic acclaim, but we totally twisted up. You know what I mean? And once we did Funk Upon a Rhyme, we were sonically locked in to where the universe was taking us. You know what I mean? And it's not like we preconceived something already. This is what we want to do. This is going to be the turnout. Because you never know how these records are going to do. You know what I mean? We were just in there, in the groove, locked on the one, and just coming up with ideas like, sometimes I feel like my day is coming. No pain, no gain. Need representation, slow burner, baking soda free. And we was in our own lane. We didn't want to, so much copy Parliament and Funkadelic and be like P-Funk babies. No, we come from Pomona, and some of the group come from South Central, so we call it G-Funk. You know what I'm saying? And that was our brand. And you heard words, even when you go back to Living Like Hustlers, you heard words like balling, chronic, and different other things. So going back to Funk Upon a Rhyme, 1994 release, man, it was crazy, man. That thing hit the pavement and really had an impact and influence on the whole game, quiet as kept. And that's a trip when I look back, how those records, man, are considered, super classic, man. And I tripped off the fact that it fluctuates from $100 to $150, man. It just let us know that as artists, man, if you do something great and creative when it hit the people, it not only leaves a legacy, but it leaves a lasting impression, for people that are upcoming artists to this day.
And also, in October 1998, you actually did some work on 211's In Progress record, where you actually did some producing and also was featured on some of the tracks. I have to ask you, what was it like actually working with 211 and actually just taking part in the In Progress record?
Well, that was cool. That was some town homies, you know what I mean, selling bow legs. And we just clicked, you know. I was on the road back then, you know, after Easy passed and then Tupac passed. You know, I used to just go to a lot of studios, and 10 times out of 10, man, it was a blessing. They would say, man, I want to mess with Kokane. So, you know, that was just another part of the journey, you know, out of many songs that I'm on. I'm over thousands and thousands of songs. And it was a blessing working with some town partners, you know, coming from Pomona, California, that is.
And I got to say as well, it's a darn shame that they only did one record, because they actually had phenomenal chemistry on the microphone, man. I really think if they would have put out more records, man, they would have did freaking huge.
Yeah, that would have been huge, but you know, Bolace, you know, it was untimely death that he had, and you know, that ended that situation. But those records is always memorable records, man. A lot of people, especially in the ghetto, you know, always talk about that specific album right there.
And also as well, you were signed to Snoop Dogg's record label, Dog House Records. I have to ask you, how did that record deal come to be for you? And of course, what was it like being signed to Snoop?
Well, first of all, you know, when we were doing records at on La Cienega and Centinela, you know, me and Warren G actually used to stay with Hutch in Colton, California, apartment 187 at the Cottonwood Ranch Apartment. And, you know, Hutch took us in, both in, and we was always wiggling together. And Warren G always used to say, man, y'all got to meet my boy Snoop, and y'all got to meet Nate. When Nate come home doing this thing for the armed services, the homie don't get out of jail, man, I'm a present them to a brother law. So Code 187, you can work with him. So when I first met Mr. Calvin Brodus, you know, I was already in the mix. I was a ruthless artist. He came to audition, actually, for Code 187, which is my cousin Hutch. And one thing we seen about Snoop and how Nate Dogg did his thing together, you know, we seen already how different they were. You know, Snoop was one of the coldest freestylers I ever heard in my game, in this game. And Death Row wasn't even in the picture because Suge was running around with us doing some bodyguard work at the same time. So we all used to go to the studio in La Cienega and Centinela. It's in Inglewood, and ironically, Snoop Dogg's compound from where he auditioned from is right around the corner. So I already knew Snoop. You know what I mean? I was a ruthless artist. You know, at that time, Snoop was a fan of mine. You know what I'm saying? He used to call me. I used to live in Rancho Cucamonga. And we wanted to mix it up. But, you know, things came into play. There's a story that, you know, and I was right there, too. We was all there. Dr. Dre and Code 187 was sitting in the car, and Hutch was playing the Black Mafia Life album. And he was like, man, that's going to go, Dr. Dre telling Hutch. And he was like, yeah, man, you like it? You know, because those two inspired each other, quiet as kept. Dr. Dre inspired Hutch, Hutch inspired Dre. We all was inspired by those two individuals. So Hutch was playing the Black Mafia Life, and Dr. Dre said, what y'all call that style of music? Man, that's hard. He said, we don't call it P-Funk, we call it G-Funk. So Dr. Dre, you know, he had a copy of Black Mafia Life, and this was all the while that the ish was about to hit the fan when Dre was going to leave. You know what I mean? So after he left, he called Hutch and said, man, you know, man, the things ain't going so right at Ruthless Records. But, you know, we people still, you know, because we rekindled our business relationship with Easy because we was about to leave. Actually, the first people was going to be on Death Row was Bubble on Kokane because it was some business discrepancies. But Easy called a meeting. We rekindled the business relationship, so we was cool. And he was supposed to do the same thing with Dre. But Dre, by then, him and Suge got together, and he was already convinced. Like, man, I'm out of here. So Hutch called, Dre called Hutch and said, man, I want to work with this kid named Snoop. Man, Warren G just brought this tape up here, man, but he said, man, I heard and I know you was working with him. You want to put him on. let me give him a shot. And I didn't even meet the dog pound yet. You know what I mean? He said, let me give him a shot. So Hutch was like, man, I ain't no hater, man, big bro. I mean, go ahead and do your thing, man. I'm working on the cocaine and working on getting this, finishing up the rest of the Black Mafia life out. So they went over there to Death Row, and then 2 or 3 months later, we didn't think nothing of it. All of a sudden, we hear these new dudes from Dog Pound dissing us on Blunts and Tanqueray. And at the same time, we hearing their projects, and we're like, wait a minute, them are not our ideas. Them are our words. But I get it. At that time, you know, if you were Death Row, you were Death Row. You were Ruthless, you was Ruthless. It's just like a gang, a street gang. But we felt at that time that y'all took our concepts, y'all ran with it, y'all fooling the people, y'all this. So it was real, like, hectic back then between Ruthless and Death Row. It was some real, like, gangster-ish. You know what I mean? And then we went at them, you know, on my Funk Upon a Rhyme album, and we said exactly what was going on. You bit my shit. You did this. You did that. But it made it seem like we were telling fibs, because by then, you know, when the Deep Cover soundtrack came out, they had the whole world on lock. And once you got the whole world on lock, it don't matter about the truth sometimes, because it's like going to a WWF wrestling match. You know that's preconceived moves, but it's not real. You know, and it just put a bad taste in our mouth over the years. But the good thing about it, you know, something good came out of it. You know, once Easy passed on and Suge was going through his thing, and all those things, like a Revelation Pac passed on, you know, Suge went to jail, and it gave us a chance to go ahead and rekindle our friendship, because before Snoop Dogg was Snoop Dogg, he was a fan of cocaine. You know what I'm saying? And we were friends. So we started talking on that aspect, and in 1999, I re-hooked back up with Snoop Dogg from knowing him since 1990, and it was just like clockwork, because he understood what sound that he embraced it and was influenced by partly, and he wanted that again. So once I came over there in 1990, he wanted to introduce a group and tie two hoods together from Goldie Loc and Trey Lee. And he did that, and the first song that we did at the Doghouse was at the Music Grinder in Hollywood, and it was dum 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 dum, oh dum dum, so I can't get around it. And he was like, man, Coke, I want you over here. And one thing I can say about definitely being over there at Doghouse, it really catapulted my whole get down, man, because I didn't know he was going to put me on all those songs. Done like at least over 50 songs over there, different features. And it was a big explosion between 1990 and 2005. So, you know, I know I'm saying a lot, but, you know, if I could paint a picture, you can see it, then you'll feel it, what I'm saying.
Hey, man, I'm going to be honest with you. I actually really enjoyed that detailed story, man, because you know what? It's stories like that that's actually going to live on for years, you know what I mean? So I got to say that was a phenomenal story, Kokane. I am really glad as well that yourself and Snoop Dogg rekindle your guys' friendship.
Yeah, we had to, man. We had something special. And we recently, you know, just linked in. I just blessed him with like 3 or 4 songs, but I blessed him for a single. And it's good that the OGs are getting back together, but it's even better that the walls of division is knocked down with the youngsters, because the youngsters are starting to revert back to the old N.W.As, the Outlaw and Kokanes. But it's like a loop, man, because we did the same thing 15, 20, 25 years later when we were sampling those records from Sly and the Family Stone, Parliament, you know, even the Doors, you know, because the Doors is Untouchables by Bubba Law. So it feels good that the youngsters is really paying attention, especially in these times where everybody is on lockdown and they need some good, hardcore G-Funk to make a move.
And also, earlier today, I was actually jamming to an old school Too Short record, And I actually was looking through the booklet, and I literally just added this to the question list there today. But I noticed as well that you did some writing for Too Short's Chase the Cat record in 2001. I have to ask you, what was it like working with Too Short on the Chase the Cat record?
Oh man, it was awesome. You know, we would see Short in the late '80s. You know, N.W.A, Short, and all them went on the road. So we always shared in that same musical aspect. You know, it's all about the phone. And I had a chance to do at least 4 songs on Too Short albums. You know what I mean? As well as him gets appearing on a couple of my projects as well. So we always had that working relationship. I was always fond of Todd, you know, being that he, you know, came from L.A. first before he went to Oakland. You know what I mean? And we were all about the same notion, man. We funkin', man. We on the one. We the disciples of Parliament Funkadelic. And that's one thing that kept Too Short around, is that he always kept his two-step when it came to the funk. You know, him and N.W.A did some incredible things, and, you know, it's an honor to be able to work with so many great legends, man, and upcoming legends and new legends that, you know, that music will stay around forever.
And also, jumping ahead to today's times, I also saw on your Facebook page that you were going to be doing a DJ battle contest. I was wondering if you could tell us a bit more about that, and how can our listeners tune in?
Well, it's a spinoff from the $1,000 dance contest. Let me just briefly explain it. Originally, we wanted to do a $1,000 dance contest, give back to the culture, and plus get them, you know, sparked up with this Monkey Wasn't Funky. But it got so overwhelming that it took on a life of itself. So we decided to give away 2 bands and have a top 10 contestants. Man, it was cats coming in from Saudi Arabia, Tanzania, Africa, Switzerland, Japan, Canada, all over. In fact, 2 of the contestants that won, Tiger Lily and Green Tech, are actually from Canada. So I was also talking with my partner, which, you know, in DJ Despair, you know, he was sending the word out there, him and CatX and my team, you know, because I have a strong team, you know what I mean? And when we put this together, man, it was overwhelming, man. You know, people were really getting in tune. It didn't matter if you were 6 years old, if you was 13, or if you was 30 or 40. People were dancing to that clip, Monkey Wasn't Funky. So I knew I wanted to really I tapped into the culture like Crush Groove. You know what I mean? I had some influencers like Cool Boy. Just, you know, everybody feeling good about this record. So I said, what an awesome idea it is to continue on with the culture. And one of the significant points of the culture is the DJs. Without the DJs, man, none of our records would ever got played. And a lot of people don't put an emphasis on the culture when it comes to the DJs. So I said, man, let's take it on back, man. All these different ideas that we have is really a spinoff of what, you know, Russell Simmons was doing in the 80s and 90s. Is to, okay, we know the politics there. We know the big corporations there. But let's go back to the people. So we're coming up with this DJ contest. So we're giving away 3 Gs. You know what I mean? To mix this Monkey Wasn't Funky, put it in the mix. You got your scratching. So that way, you know, once the DJs get a hold of it worldwide, we really want to make this Monkey Wasn't Funky go platinum, because it's a good record. But number one, it's not just about giving away the money, but mostly giving away the love and giving away the fun. And everybody can participate in this, man. I don't care if you from many different coalitions. You know, I don't do the division thing, because sometimes this coalition, the battle this coalition, and I'm telling everybody, no, stop, pause. It's not about Republicans and Democrats. It's about getting this together, and we're doing it with a record, Monkey Wasn't Funky, and pretty soon you'll see the flyer up, and we calling all DJs. We calling you out. Yeah, Kokane is calling you out. If you got what it takes, I don't care if you've been in the game for so many years, you upcoming, man, participate and get on this fantastic journey. So that DJ contest, 3K, Monkey Wasn't Funky DJ battle, that is coming at you real soon, man. And that's definitely part of the marketing plan for this new song, man, that's sweeping the world, Monkey Wasn't Funky, which drops tomorrow.
And I have to say as well, I remember when we were chopping it up on the phone, you wanted me to participate in the dance contest. I first and foremost have to say my apologies for not doing that. I had literally had foot surgery 2 days after we talked on the phone, so I was trying to think how could I really dance with one foot, right? So when this DJ contest comes out, if you can, let me know the information when you get all of it together, because I'd love to participate in that as well and help you promote that.
Oh, man, I appreciate it, man. Come one, come all, you know. And you can still get your dance clip because, you know, like I said, it took a life on itself, and people are still sending me dance clips, man. So that's what it's about, man. We're touching the four corners of the earth with good music, good vibe, legendary status. But most importantly, man, is we putting out that love out there. Love out in the universe. That's all it is.
And also, Kokane, I have to ask you, like, what other than the DJ contest and the dance video still coming in, and Monkey Wasn't Funky, what's next for you? Is there any other projects, anything else you're currently working on that you want to let our live audience know while we still have you here on the line?
Yes, well, you definitely got to get my daughter on the platform soon. She just dropped a single, and her name, first and foremost, is Anissa Long, AANISAHLONG. And we just released a cut called F-Boy Signs. It's available on all your social sites. So make sure you pick up Anissa Long, F-Boy Signs. I just dropped the artist out of Cleveland, Ohio. His name is Justin Blue Moon. You spell it Justin Blue Moon. He has a cut out on all your social sites. It's called Man Please. Man Please. Go pick that up. And plus I got a Kokane strand coming out for the first of the year. Also got a Kokane Street gear coming out the first of the year. So Buddy Boy Entertainment is very busy. You know, shout out to my queen, to my team. We are a family business, you know what I mean? And it'll be going on 14 years, and I'm excited, man. I'm still out here killing them on the hooks, you know, and it's just a beautiful time, you know, out of a messed up situation with this virus, that we can make some good out of it through the music, arts, and entertainment. And just very excited about things that are coming to fruition. You know, I worked 30-plus years, and a lot of people didn't know the face as opposed to knowing the voice. But now that the Kokane sound has truly touched the four corners of the earth, the mystique is finally cracking wide open. So, you know, it's been a long journey, but now new beginnings is upon us, and we're going to continue to make people feel good through selling them good quality products, and at the same time being entertained and feeling good through music.
And also, Kokane, this is the time in the interview that I give a chance for the individual that comes on the radio station. Just a chance to give shoutouts to whomever they want to give shoutouts to. And of course, your social media handles. That way our listeners can follow you if they're not already doing so. But this is an old school hip hop radio station, so if they're not already following Kokane, I don't know, man. I think they already should be, but just in case, what's them social media handles?
Okay, first and foremost, I want to give big ups to you. I appreciate you, you know, always rocking with the Cokester. You know what I mean? And I want to put some emphasis on Canada. Listen to me. Canada, I love you. I mean, it's two people that actually won, very talented from Canada, you know, and we got yourself, DJ Despair. Black Gypsy is up there. She do a lot of stuff with me and, you know, a Little E. And Canada has been Canada's like my second home. You know what I mean? So wherever you at, I'm putting emphasis on there. Make it a point for people to go ahead and get this Monkey Wasn't Funky, because Canada showed up and showed out on this dance contest. And basically, shout out to the whole world. Rakim said it best, it ain't where you from, it's where you at. This is where we at. It's hitting all cultures. It don't matter who you are, where you're from. The Monkey Wasn't Funky is making people move. And if you want to reach me, for people that are, you know, want to inquire about my services for doing hooks, you can reach me at KOKANE _OG_. That's at Kokane _OG_. Leave your DM, leave your business, all serious inquiries. You know what I mean? And make sure you visit my site at www.buddyboyent.com. You spell it www.buddyboyent.com. U, D is in Derek, E is in E, BOYENT.com, ButEBoyENT.com, and make sure you get the classic Kokane collection and stay rocking with us, man. We promise you, man, we're going to make it exciting. This type of energy, man, it's infectious across the world. Monkey Wasn't Funky drops December the 4th, and if you recap on this interview, it's out right now. Make sure you support us, you know what I mean? It's the living legend, most featured artist in the world, the humble legend, Kokane.
And I gotta say, Kokane, excuse me, first and foremost, thank you so much for just supporting my platform and coming on not once but twice, you know what I mean, and always engaging with my stuff, man. I gotta say, it's an honor. I grew up listening to your music, so it's just an honor to be able to get to know a legendary individual like yourself, and I'm looking forward to our third interview in the near future.
Oh, man, real soon, man. You keep doing your thing. You know, you're definitely a pillar of the community, and I'm proud to be called your friend, your big bro, and I love you, man.
I gotta say, man, right back at you, brother. I gotta say, it's an absolute honor. But Kokane, I won't keep you because I know you're a busy guy. You gotta keep pushing this Monkey Wasn't Funky, and unfortunately, you can't just do it on one platform. You gotta go all over. So I won't keep you, man, but I'm looking forward to midnight. 2 hours here on the East Coast until Monkey Wasn't Funky drops. So guys, lock them reminders in your phone. Midnight, snag it, get it, or you will regret it.
Oh, in a real way.
And I gotta say, Kokane, thank you so much again, man, and most definitely have yourself a wonderful night.
You too. Big ups, Canada. Salute.